Tucker Carlson was on the other night. He said, in his opinion, there's no such thing as hate speech in America. How do you stand on that?
I believe in hate speech. When you have hate for somebody, I am 100% into speech.
Are you one of those people that confuses coincidence and irony? Then follow me here. A coincidence is simply the random, unexpected timing of events. For example, say you happen to die on your birthday. That's a coincidence. It's not ironic, it's random. Irony, however, carries a layer of meaning, highlighting the gaps between appearance and reality. Like getting in a car accident, surviving the accident, but the ambulance taking you to the hospital crashes and kills you. The ambulance makes your death ironic. And sometimes a person can be ironic, which brings me to Charlie Kirk and the public reaction to his death. Here's the Attorney General, who didn't have a word to say when 2 Minnesota legislators were assassinated, but has a lot to say now. That's not ironic, it's just evil.
There's free speech, and then there's hate speech. And there is no place, especially now, especially after what happened to Charlie, in our society.
Do you see more law enforcement going after these groups who are using hate speech and putting cuffs on people so we show them that some action is better than no action?
We will absolutely target you, go after you, if you are targeting anyone with hate speech, anything. And that's across the aisle.
Okay, so that's disturbing and, of course, unconstitutional. But this group is not only void of values and integrity, but they might just be the dumbest collection of cock-waffling monkeys to ever get dressed in the morning. Just look at their leader. His college professor at Wharton said he was the dumbest goddamn student he ever had, and it's just gone south since then. So, of course, they attack anyone who criticizes them, and in this case, threatens them.
And what do you make Pam Bondi saying she's going to go after hate speech? Is that, I mean, a lot of your allies say hate speech is free speech.
Should probably go after people like you because you treat me so unfairly. It's hate. You have a lot of hate in your heart. Maybe they'll come after ABC. Well, ABC paid me $16 million recently for a form of hate speech, right? Your company paid me $16 million for a form of hate speech. So maybe they'll have to go after you.
So Pam Bondi wants to prosecute you for making posters, and Trump?
That's a violent radical left group. Okay, go ahead.
I got peppered with a lot of comments for doing that. They still have their First Amendment right, though. They're still out there protesting. Well, you've got an amazing team behind you. You've done it all.
He's not so sure you still have First Amendment rights. You just heard that. This isn't about mourning Charlie Kirk. It's about testing how far they can go before dissent is a crime. And now they're saying the quiet part out loud. But Trump resorts to threats because he can't entertain complex ideas and rhetorical comebacks. He's not bright.
I could be a stupid person.
Look, simply put, Trump lacks the ability to debate and has absolute zero critical thinking skills. So anyone who possesses those is a threat. And Barbie, not a very bright person.
It's sitting on my desk.
And again, one of little integrity. When Pam Barbie Bondi was the Attorney General of Florida, she declined to prosecute Trump University for fraud after Trump donated $25,000 to her campaign. But that was just the beginning. Now, after Charlie Kirk's murder, Republicans are gearing up to wipe their ass with the Constitution.
If you don't like our religion, then we don't want you in our country.
What's shocking is that these mopes can't see that if you don't want hate speech, you don't have to look any further than their latest calling card, Charlie Kirk.
I will never understand how anyone can feel joy about shooting another innocent human. Where is the joy in that?
Gentlemen, please, let's get loud for Kyle Rittenhouse.
I can't stand the word empathy, actually. I think empathy is a made-up New Age term that does a lot of damage.
I think it's worth it. I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year.
And the Civil Rights Act, though, let's be clear, created a beast, and that beast has now turned into an anti-white weapon.
You had a daughter and she was 10 and she got raped. Would you want her to go through that and carry her baby?
That's awfully graphic.
But it's a real life scenario that happens to many people.
The answer is yes, the baby would be delivered.
In fact, I even think that we should bring back, public executions on certain people. No.
Is in Leviticus 18 is that thou shalt lay with another man shall be stoned to death. Just saying. So, Miss Rachel, you quote Leviticus 19, love your neighbor as yourself. The chapter before affirms God's perfect law when it comes to sexual matter.
Now, here's the thing about speech. You can't say, I'm going to kill somebody, but you can say, I'm glad they're dead. And personally, I'm not glad Kirk was killed. I think it's sad for two reasons. One, his kids, and two, Kirk had potential, despite the craven, crass attacks against marginalized people. He was 31 and he was groomed and being used by money from the right. Maybe I'm being too nice, but I'd much rather humiliate him publicly than have his death bring together people who, while attacking hate speech, exercise it like an old man's right hand in an adult theater. And speaking of irony, this might top it all. MAGA light Senator Ted Cruz said Bondi was wrong, but then he attacked the response to Kirk's death by saying if you reveled in Kirk's death, you should be punished.
Last week was just a horrific week in this nation's history, and he was assassinated for believing in free speech, for engaging in his views. He was assassinated not because he was spreading lies, but because people were afraid of what he was saying. And I will say the courage he had to go to college campuses and engage with people who disagreed, even if you might disagree with him. He would engage in civil debate, going back and forth. That is the very finest of the traditions of our First Amendment. We have seen, as you noted, across the country, people on the left, not everybody, but far too many people celebrating Charlie Kirk's murder. We've seen teachers in high schools and elementary schools posting online celebrating. We've seen university professors posting. In my view, they should absolutely face the consequences for celebrating murder.
Okay, so when Charlie Kirk said this...
She gives these speeches and it just has this aura of totalitarianism. My team says she's Indian and Caribbean. I'll tell you what, she would be a lot easier to beat than Joe Biden. A lot. I mean, Joe Biden is a bumbling, dementia-filled, Alzheimer's, corrupt tyrant who should honestly be put in prison and or given the death penalty for his crimes against America. But Kamala Harris, my goodness, there's something that just kind of is tribal where people are like, I don't know if I want this crazy person running the country.
How am I supposed to react? Biden is and was a civil servant who went to church every Sunday, fought for Ukraine and against Putin as far back as the 90s. And this punk wants him dead? And if a Democrat had said those things, what would have been the response from the right?
In the good old days, this doesn't happen because they used to treat them very, very rough. And when they protested once, you know, they would not do it again so easily. We've become weak.
Exactly. Look, here's where Cruz is right. The First Amendment doesn't protect assholes from getting fired, but let's compare Charlie Kirk saying he would like Biden executed to what Matthew Dowd said on MSNBC.
Meantime, we've got new fallout. MSNBC now firing a political analyst, Matthew Dowd, over comments that he made during the network's coverage of this tragedy.
But following up on what was just said, he's been one of the most divisive, especially divisive younger figures in this, who is constantly sort of pushing this sort of hate speech or sort of aimed at certain groups. And I always go back to hateful thoughts lead to hateful words, which then lead to hateful actions. And I think that's the environment we're in, that people just, you can't stop with these sort of awful thoughts you have and then saying these awful words and not expect awful actions to take place.
Matt.
And that's the unfortunate environment we're in.
Matthew Dowd got fired for saying that, and Kirk got invited to the White House. It's ironic as a motherfucker that we live in a nation that was once revered as a light in the darkness, which in less than a decade has become the darkness itself. I'm saddened but not surprised by Trump's ascent in this half-witted Cracker Barrel buffet of goobers waving their Confederate flags in the faces of immigrants and African Americans while proclaiming their love for America. But I'll admit they have the right to be ignorant while they tear down the country that offers them that very freedom. And yeah, that's ironic.
Seriously, we need to release the Epstein list.
It's sitting on my desk. Do you have no shame?
Goddamn right.
Are you not entertained?
Who you talking to?
I could be a stupid person.
Trump admitted he knew Epstein for 15 years.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
I'm sorry, ma'am.
You're a nasty person. It's not fair. They don't know what the fuck they're doing.
I don't want to talk about this stuff.
Am I wrong?
Yes.
You're in a lot of trouble, Donnie.
I think he's crazy.
I'm Chip Franklin.